My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Rimworld. We've continued straight on from where we left off. There's been no progression at all between episodes. As you can see, Eugenia is still recovering on our little sleeping medical spot in our main room. 3 of our 4 colonists are asleep, and if we go to the south, we'll see the downed colonist Forbes is still clinging on in there, but he does bleed out in 2 hours' time, so it's soon curtains for Forbes. So, as per usual, no real plans for the episode, because as we know, Rimworld can throw you a curveball very easily and very suddenly, and lay all your plans to rack and ruin, so we're just going to go with the flow. However, one thing I would like to get done is set up some hot water system for our sink, which you can see here Garcia is using as she washes herself in the sink. So it's good to see that that is working correctly. One thing I have done between episodes, so it's not quite immediately picked up, is I've designated, as you can see here, a whole swath of trees to be chopped to wood. As it stands, we have no wood available, so sooner we can get that topped up the better, especially as some of our torches are starting to extinguish, and that increases the risk of infestation, which is something we certainly don't want to have happen. In the meantime, while they are doing that, what I'm going to do is get that little chunk there mined out just to make the bathroom a little bit more symmetrical. And what we're also going to do is we're going to produce or build a log boiler. We have a Gorlandland pod sprout, which we're going to disregard for now. Yes, we're going to build a log boiler. Now this, as the name suggests, provides hot water for your plumbing system. Do we have a hot water tank? Yes, we do. Okay, so how do we want to set this up? I think what we'll do is we'll have the hot water tank there. Sorry, that's the boiler. We'll have the boiler there and the hot water tank there. And then we'll pipe off and keep this pipe separate from our cold water system. And that way they won't get intermixed. What I'd also like to do is put through a sewage outlet down here. Perhaps down into this area here, into this marshland. And we can do that with this sewage outlet just here. So if we put that in position ready, and then start the plumbing, we basically want to bring it all the way across, and it needs to come from the bathroom. So what we are going to have to do is mine out some of this in order to access the rear of the latrine as it stands. We can unpause it. I'm not sure. I think it paused because of the pod sprout. So what we'll do is we'll just mine that bit there, and then we'll have 2 doors, one there and one there, just to seal it off once again, and our pipe will run down here once that's been excavated. So with all that set up, we can increase the time progression and allow our colonists to get on with their lives. At the moment we are sowing out some jungle trees, that's right, I remember now, to help with our wood situation, so that's fine. Looks like Python is starting work on the sewage outlet along with James. James, I prefer you, my friend, to come down here and start actually harvesting some of these trees. That's going to be very useful very soon, especially when this log boiler is constructed. So Leslie is going on a insulting spree. The straw was her husband died. How long is left on that? Let's have a look here. Mood, my husband, 9 hours. So it's very nearly done. But for a few hours, she is going to just insult Cobra. Garcia is going to try and calm her down, and she was unsuccessful, unfortunately. She has got quite... let's phrase that correctly. She does have high social skills, so there is a chance she would succeed in that, but obviously in this instance, she was unsuccessful. And as we can see, Leslie's just hurling abuse at Python as he tries to meditate, which is somewhat amusing. Leslie, we can't... I don't think we... Oh, we can... No, we can't. I mean, we can tell her to do it, but she won't do it. Let's get you just to do a bit of cleaning around the base. Did the any of the wood get hauled back? No, it didn't. James, please come and get some of these trees harvested ASAP. Let's go for 4, because we want to get our torches refueled as quick as we can, just because of the infestation risk that poses if they're left unlit. Okay, so we've got the torches refueled in the base, which is going to stave off any infestation, which is obviously quite important. We've started work obviously on our little corridor here, not got very far yet. The hot water tank is set up, although obviously there's no hot water in there yet because we have no logs for the boiler. Although hopefully Garcia will be able to actually go and refuel that pretty soon. In fact, you could do that right now. Only 6 logs, however. And there we go. That's hot water now plumbed in. Let's just check now our plumbing situation. So that should actually now have hot water available as well. That should boost our colonist moods quite nicely, which is very, very handy. Python's doing a bit of harvesting, which is good because we've ran out of food. Luckily, it looks like we've got quite a lot that's either harvestable or very close to being harvestable. Our first batch of cotton is also ready to go as well, which is really handy. We could use that to craft some beds, armchairs, and of course some clothes for our colonists as well. None of them are too uncomfortable at the moment, but if we could have some proper clothing, it's obviously going to be better for everybody concerned. Let's just get this hauled urgently, shall we? So Garcia continues to tend to our patient Eugenia. How is she doing? So the scratch on her torso is almost healed, as is the crack on her left humerus. This Campbell's disease doesn't look great. Hopefully the medicine we have could help tend that for her. Okay, what do we have now? Python has gone catatonic because he was insulted, and now he's developed the slob trait. That's great. So thanks for that one, Randy Random. So Garcia, could you please go and rescue our good friend Python? Obviously he's dropped his recurve bow and his makeshift rifle, so let's get those hauled inside as quick as we can so they don't deteriorate out here in the rain. There you go, thank you very much, Leslie. That can be deconstructed, it's just in the way, as can that little bit of fence there. And in fact, James, if you... oh no, can you do that? Yes. So James, please deconstruct that and that. There we go. Just clears the place up just a little. So Python, we don't know how long he's going to be down and out for. Hopefully it won't be too long. We've researched longbow, so we'll pause it here while we take a moment to decide what our next course of action is going to be. And again, we'll start from the beginning. Perhaps sewage sludge composting. That'll give us a biosolids composter, which we can then use to fertilise our crops. Yes, we'll go for that. It's one of the researches that we'd need to tick off the list anyway in order to advance to the industrial era, or at least it's one of those that counts towards the progression. So it's worthwhile getting, and it does have some sort of benefit as well, especially if we can start irrigating our crops. Okay, so Eugenia is fully healed, and as we can see, she is leaving, sadly. Oh well, that's her choice. Hopefully she'll make it past the spiders. We've got quite a few dead ones out here from the recent trade caravan that dropped in. With it being night time, she does stand a fighting chance, although she's moving very slowly. So by the time she reaches the base perimeter, chances are they're going to be up and about and on the hunt for some breakfast. We really need to get some food here. That's getting quite dire now. I think we'll just forced harvest these rice plants. So let's force harvest all of those. And I might even go for the corn as well. But we'll see how we get on with just the rice. None of our colonists have any food at all. Obviously the yields aren't great here because we're harvesting before they're at full maturity. Garcia, you should now be able to start preparing some meals. Let's get you hauling the rice ASAP. And that should encourage you to actually start some cooking. Or not, because you're just going to eat some of it. Python, you're fine-ish for food. Leslie, however, is not. Okay, how's our corn doing? Oh, it's only 70 up. Oh, 85, 80, 80, 85. Not quite there yet. There we go. Eugenia has died as expected. So that's our relationships soured with the Empire of the Spirit. That's unfortunate. And obviously it's a bit of a... I don't want to say karma for her opting not to join us, but it's very easy to think that way, isn't it? If she'd have stayed with us, she'd be alive and well, and comfortable and relatively safe in the base. But such as it is, she opted not to, and she has, I wouldn't say paid the price, but yeah, it didn't go well for her, shall we say. Now, what can we... We need this torch building pretty quickly. Have we run out? James, why aren't you down here harvesting? What's your priority set to for plant cutting? It's set to 1. Okay, you're sowing plants first of all. Fair enough. Leslie, you could also go out and... Oh, you're also sowing some jungle trees. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll let you finish sowing that little area. And obviously our food plants as well. James, oh, now you're going to do the harvesting. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. That'll get us some wood. Obviously our boiler has burnt out, which means the temperature in our hot water tank is dropping, as we can see here, down to 5.5%. That'll soon be 0. Obviously all this wood will help offset that as soon as we can get it all chopped down and returned to base. Okay, so we're into the next morning. Once again, we have no food available. So I think we are going to have to now force harvest our corn crops, even though they're not quite there yet. It's better than starvation and everybody being in a stinky mood, so let's get that queued up. Hopefully they'll start doing that pretty soon. We've had a shuttle crash. So this will be several people surviving. As we can see, however, they're very precariously located, and there's absolutely no chance we're going to be able to reach those before our friends the Jungleisks do so, so they will have to suffer their fate, unfortunately. So we'll hop back to our base now. So that's the corridor almost completed, as we can see. Still, the food situation isn't great. Leslie, stop listening to the radio. Get harvesting some food, please. James, haul that slate chunk out of here. Get it gone. Haul it. Thank you. Oh, you're now going to eat some raw corn as well. We've researched sewage sludge composting. Don't think we can do anything with that immediately, but it's nice to have it out of the way. We could go for grilling or cheese making, but I believe we need milk to create cheese. At least that will be logical to think that. So we're going to let's try that again, shall we? So we're going to ignore that for now, and we'll continue on with some more pressing technologies. Perhaps let's have a look. Artisan furniture. Although I think these do require golden ingots to be able to construct them. Siege equipment, maybe. Tools. As it stands, I don't think there's anything that's massively jumping out at me for what we could use next. I might just go for the great bow, just because it's better than nothing. Garcia, once you're finished having a bit of rec time, could you please start doing some food prep? Oh, we have no wood. Okay. Well, the corn harvest is nearly done, and also nearly re-sown as well, because they're doing that as they go along. So once that's done, we can start with the jungle trees, which they are doing now. Let's get that hauled, and as well the few units of medicines that have dropped from our harvest. There we go. I guess it's off to sleep now for everybody. So there we go. That's plenty of corn. So that's that taken care of. All we need now is the food to fuel the stove. Obviously, the sooner we get to the industrial tech era, when we can unlock electronics, the better it's going to be. Python is back up and about, as we can see, but is in a pretty dire mood. What's affecting him? How he soiled himself. Well, that's never fun. He also classes his bedroom as awful. Okay, Python, you're up and about and you've got decent stats. Let's get you out here harvesting some trees, please. We need the wood. We've got 16 units, which is not enough to do anything. I mean, we could probably refuel a few torch lamps. Let's get a few more harvested, please, Python. This tree farm here is going to come in handy, because I do believe they will chop the wood when it's ready and replant it straight away. Let's get all of the wood hauled back, please, Python, not just bits and pieces. There we go. So with that wood, we can now resume our cooking. We can start refueling the torches. And then, Python, then you can go to sleep. So your sleep schedule is going to be up and about for a couple of days, which is fine. Garcia started on some meal preparation, which is brilliant, because we're living off raw corn, which is not the worst thing in the world, but obviously it's better to have the meals. So Garcia's stocking our food up once again. Plenty of corn to go around, which is fantastic. What we need now is the wood. Obviously we do have the order set up still to go. It looks like James is on his way, and Leslie's going to join him, so they should hopefully motor through that pretty damn quickly. We can also now continue with the sewage outlet now that Python's up and about and this corridor has been fully excavated. So let's go for steel plumbing out to there. Here's the area fertilizer. This is what we want to designate as the area to be fertilized. Obviously, to do that, we need the Biosolids Composter, which is here. And we'll construct that just there. Not sure how many biosolids we're going to have soon, because we are now very close to completing our steel sewage outlet. In fact, all the resources have been delivered, and James is now making a start. One has been botched, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to take a bit of steel to fix that, and there we go. So we should now start seeing our sewage being dumped straight out there. So now I'm not sure that the pit is ever going to fill up, so may have to have a second latrine that is not attached to a sewage system, just so we can harvest the fecal sludge to fuel our biosolids composter just there. Another food harvest completed with our potatoes now harvested, at least half of them anyway. So once again, we're top of the world when it comes to food supplies, and indeed we've got a nice supply of meals, as we can see. The only thing we do need to keep on top of is the wood, but we have plenty out. Oh, yes, we're fine. It just needs hauling back. That's fine then. I think what we'll also do is grow another zone of plants, and we'll use this nice fertile soil out here. As you can see, 140% fertility. So let's zone up a growing zone. A nice large one. And over here, let's just pause it. I think we shall grow. Shall we grow some wheat? That yields 15. Yes, I think we'll go for the wheat. What's the growth time on that? 15 days. So the harvests are going to be relatively few and far between. But when they are harvested, we are going to get a decent amount from them, which is really, really good and should keep us stocked up quite nicely, especially with the strawberries, the rice and the potatoes to keep us going between harvests as well. Of course, the main problem now is how fast this is all going to spoil, but looking at it, we've got plenty of time. The corn lasts for 2 months, the potatoes lasts for around about a month, so we don't have to urgently worry about those spoiling anytime soon, which is great. I think the next research we'll go for is carpets. That way we can have nice flooring throughout our main base area without using up our wood supplies. Instead we can use some of this cotton that we now have on hand. Can we build a tailor's bench? I believe we should be able to at this point. Production, hand tailor bench for 75 wood. We have plenty. And I think we'll have the tailor bench in the corridor. Just there. And then we want a nice bit of furniture for them to sit upon as they work. And I think we'll go for the armchair. What's this? Ship made a quest. So there's a downed ship somewhere. Now obviously that's going to be in a different world tile. Now if we wanted to do that we would have to bypass the hordes of spiders. Well, I say hordes, there aren't actually that many at the moment. We have some here. But other than that, there aren't too many others knocking around at the moment. I guess they've either died off or wandered off of the map due to a lack of food. That's quite interesting. So our base is once again in darkness due to a lack of torches being lit up. Garcia, why don't you refuel some of these? And then James, you can do the other ones for me, please. Don't forget that one in there. And in fact, it's probably at this point not a bad idea to go and put one down in the bathroom. There we go. Okay, so that's most of the torches relit. Obviously, the one in Garcia's room has gone out as well. And we need to build this one over here, but that's fine. Birthday. Fantastic. James has become frail at the age of 46. Bit young to be going frail. So it gives him a 5% penalty to moving and manipulation. So he's going to move that little bit slower and work that little bit slower as well. Happy birthday, James. So Leslie's the first one up in the morning. She's had herself a bit of breakfast. And then she's going to go off and do a little bit of harvesting. Getting some tomato, strawberries, berries, yes. Python, what are you doing? You're cutting grass. Okay. Oh, you're going to plant out the wheat farm. Very well. Cargo pods right on the southern edge of the map. Nothing too impressive there, so we can disregard those. We need all this wood hurling. Don't hurl it, haul it. Yes, we can do this wood bringing back as soon as we can as well, please, guys. Just keep the stocks as high as possible. Garcia, if you could then refuel that torch in your bedroom for me, please. Very good. And I think we'll start crafting some clothing. How are we doing in terms of... Well, we've got quite a lot of cloth, so let's see what we can produce. I think the first thing we should give everybody some sort of jacket or perhaps a t-shirt. And if we do this X per colonist, we don't want that. We only want 1 per colonist, so that'll be 4 total. Not sure who's assigned to tailoring. Only Python, a skill of 4, sorry. That's fine. Let's increase the priority on that just a little bit. So a group from the Atroro Union are visiting. They have a few items to trade with us. Thankfully, none of them have any family members in our colony, so we shouldn't have any murderous rampages due to the spiders killing them off. Because let's be honest, it's probably going to happen. Although they don't seem to be paying too much attention to the remaining 2 colonists. Indeed not. Now, unfortunately, the one who did die was the one who had something to trade, so we can't trade with them, so we'll just leave them outside. They're of no use to us. So we'll take a very nihilistic viewpoint towards them and just leave them to the spiders. It's going to harm our relations with the tribe, but so be it. Now the junglisks have turned their attention to them. There we go, that's them all down. So I think this junglist is maddened at the moment, yes, due to it being injured. by our visitors, which is unfortunate because if it had gone to sleep, we could have gone out and grabbed some of this pemmican and royal insect jelly. Could have come in use, but given that that spider will turn on us as soon as we go out that door, we're going to have to wait a few days to grab those items if we still want them. So with another night drawing in here in the jungle, I think this is a good time to leave this episode. In terms of progression, we've had a few technological advancements, nothing too impressive or major or game-changing at this point, however. We have set up a sewage outlet for our latrine, and once we build a second latrine that doesn't have a sewage outlet, we can start composting some of the biological waste to turn into fertilizer for some of our crops. Other than that, James had a birthday, developed the frail trait. Python is a slob because he passed out in the jungle. So all in all, a bit of a downgrade for both of those colonists, unfortunately, but such is life out here in the jungle, I suppose. As we can see, James is actually wearing, I believe, one of the new t-shirts that Python has crafted. So that's good to see. That's actually quite interesting because I do believe he has the nudist. Well, his ideology is that of a nudist, so quite surprising to see him opting to wear some clothes, but there we go. Python has also donned a t-shirt as well. For the first time, he's now wearing more than just his little tribal kilt, protecting his modesty. So yes, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for your company and hope you're still enjoying these series. We seem to be making a lot safer progression than we were last time on the ice sheet, although obviously that infestation came out of absolutely nowhere, so let's not count our chickens before they are hatched. All that remains for me to say then now, ladies and gentlemen, is as always, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.